Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by MMA up-and-comer Jordan Gaza. Jordan, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Jordan, let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to before you got started in MMA, you started doing jiu-jitsu. Let's start with that. Why did you decide to start doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
I was really active. I did tons of sport growing up, so I actually had like a little middle school boyfriend at the time that did it, and I always thought it was like karate or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like I never like really described it because like I never saw wrestling, I never saw anything, I never even had heard of jiu-jitsu, so it was kind of like, I wanted to see what it was. So I went with him one day, and like ever since my first day there, like I loved it, and I wanted to compete that weekend already, and it was just I fell in love with it from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. How long had you been doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu before you got into MMA?
Let me see. Probably about 4 years.
Mm-hmm. So what made you decide to transition into MMA?
My coach, he's not my coach anymore, but the gym that I used to be at, he was like a local pro fighter and stuff, so everyone there at the gym wanted to fight, and I kind of, for the longest time, I was like, no, I'm just going to stay in jiu-jitsu. I don't want to get punched in the face. And, my coach just really, pushed it, I guess, on me, so I started jumping in with the guys and training with them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, it just took off from there. I started sparring more, and then I actually made a trip to Jackson with my coach, and I got to see what it was like to actually train with female fighters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So ever since then, I stuck with it.
Before you started doing the training, had you seen MMA on TV before? Were you familiar with the sport?
I watched one of the more earlier seasons of The Ultimate Fighter,
mm-hmm.
and I just thought it was like the weirdest thing ever.
Mm-hmm. Now your team, Weapons at Hand, is that where you're still training at now?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And has that been your gym from the beginning, or?
No, I actually just maybe a little more than a year now. I started training with them.
Mm-hmm. And Jordan, I'm curious, when you decided that you were going to go into MMA, were your parents, were they supportive right from the start, or did it take some time when you decided to start?
Oh, they were all for it.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, cheerleading was my main sport as far as, I was a varsity cross-country runner, varsity cheerleader. I played volleyball and basketball, so, they liked the competitiveness, so, they were all for it right away.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that you were a cheerleader in high school. I'm just curious, how does a high school cheerleader get the taste for combat?
I would say, honestly, I think I have more injuries from cheerleading.
Mm-hmm.
So, it kind of it's not that they fall into the same category, but it was kind of easy to do both. I had my first 3 MMA fights while I was still in high school, so it balanced out very well, actually.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite part about the sport?
After the fight. I like the I like how training's tough and it's hard, physically and mentally, and I just love the feeling of, kind of like being done with it, and then, win or lose, even though, I hate to lose, but, just the feeling that you accomplished something, I love that.
Jordan, what's the reaction you get when you tell people that you're a fighter?
Everyone's surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Unless
Sure.
they already know that I fight.
Sure.
It's always just, the same thing. Oh, wow, you're not, you're lying. And then, it gets kind of annoying after a while. But, now more people know that I fight and more people know me. So, I'm getting used to it. But, I hate the phrases, I hate when people are like, oh, can you beat me up? And I hate that.
Now, Felice Herrig, how long have you been friends with her?
Probably a little more than a year now. I went up last summer to go train with her. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a little more than a year now.
Mm-hmm. And how did you two meet?
My manager is partnered with her manager in Sucker Punch, so, he pretty much brought her up and, asked if I wanted to, take the time to go and see, go up there to Chicago and train with her and stuff, so I went and we became friends and training partners, so it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. How many of those sock puppet things that she makes, how many of those do you have?
Well, she's only made me one, and then she sent me a couple other ones.
Oh, I see.
Like a little pink one and another one. But I'm in my room right now, and I probably have like 10 sock monkeys around my room.
Now, Jordan, you obviously enjoy the sport, otherwise you wouldn't be doing it, but how big of a fan of MMA are you? Are you watching, all the UFC pay-per-views, Strikeforce, Bellator, Invicta? Are you watching all the shows?
I'm very selective. I'll watch a UFC if it's someone, that I really, really like to watch fight. I've watched all 3 Invictas, so I love watching, the female part of fighting. Every time there's girls on the card, I'll watch it. But as far as, guys, I don't really watch it too much unless it's someone that I like or someone that, that I like the way they fight and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Who are some of the fighters that you enjoy watching?
I enjoy John Bones Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy, I'm starting to enjoy, a lot of the lighter weight classes. I, don't have specific names, but, I like watching the smaller guys, actually.
Mm-hmm. And how did you get your nickname, Ninja Princess?
Felice actually gave it to me. Whenever I went up to train with her, I'm really spoiled here at home, so I don't wash my clothes, I don't cook, I don't clean. So, she had to kind of show me all of that. So she was calling me princess and stuff, and then, Ninja kind of has to do with fighting in a way, so it was just random. We were trying to think of fight names for me.
Mm-hmm. Now, when did you decide that you were just going to go from somebody who was going to train MMA to someone who was going to compete in it? Was that early on that you made the decision that you were going to do this and compete in it?
Well, when I first started training in it, it was kind of like, I just thought, okay, now I'm going to get a fight right away, right after I start training, and then, I started going to some of the guys, the amateur fights and stuff, and I was like, whoa, no, you actually, you need to prepare for the fight, you can't just jump into it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess I was waiting for like a year, trying to get a fight, and no one really wanted to fight like a 16, 17-year-old girl. So, I finally got my first fight maybe a year and a half after I started training.
Mm-hmm. As an amateur, you were 4-3. You captured the Tough Enough 115-pound title. I'm just going to assume that that's the proudest moment of your amateur career?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I still have yet to get that kind of feeling of excitement again in MMA. That's my favorite moment so far.
Mm-hmm. Back in June, you made your pro debut against Paige Vanzant. You lost the fight by a close split decision. Jordan, what went wrong for you in that fight, and what did you learn from that fight?
Everything went wrong in that fight. I never talk trash on girls or anything. I respect everyone, but she wasn't good. She was nothing compared to, I fought some good girls, and I kind of just went out there, and my mind wasn't there. It was a fight in my hometown, and it was different, and something just didn't feel right about my mind. I'm actually going to start seeing a sports psychologist because of just my last fights. I've kind of not been right. I haven't been able to get back to performing the way that I should. Mm-hmm. So, I just didn't perform right, and that's what happens, I guess. I do believe, though, that I won the fight. I do think so. I stopped. I just didn't do anything. And, that's what happens. Sometimes you're there, sometimes you're not. So, but, the last round, I kind of just, went back to jiu-jitsu, and that saved me, even that round, so.
Mm-hmm. Not to make an excuse, but did the fact that she was a short-notice opponent and there really wasn't that much footage of her out there, did that play any factor into the fight?
No, I actually, I really just, I was expecting it to be an easy fight, and it would have been an easy fight if I would have actually put my mind into it, but like I said, it was nothing to do with the short notice, or that I kind of would not see any video on my opponent.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just, it was all me, I would say.
In the third round, you took her back. You locked up a rear naked choke. How close were you to getting a finish?
Oh, I mean, it was sunken in. It was tight. I mean, I would say even within, the next couple seconds, she would have been out. And, that's what sucks, too. And it was actually, they're 3-minute rounds, so
right,
that was
right.
weird. I thought they were going to be 5-minute rounds.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too. I was surprised when I was watching the video. It's only a 10-minute long video, and I thought, if the fight, because I saw the results later, and if the fight went to this distance, that would make it a 15-minute fight, but this clip is only 10 minutes. So I was surprised about that. But one thing that you said, you felt like you had done enough to get a win. Were you surprised that even with the way the first couple rounds went, that you didn't get the decision just because it was in your hometown? Were you surprised that they didn't give you the nod?
I've only had one other decision, so I wasn't really sure how it was going to play out. I had thought, I've seen a lot of people get screwed in their hometown, so I know that probably has nothing to do with it, or it doesn't in Texas. So, I was so sure about the split decision that I was just, you can see my face in the video. I was disappointed in myself.
Mm-hmm. And now, you were supposed to have a fight this weekend against Glenna Avila, but you suffered an injury and were forced to withdraw. What exactly was the injury, and how severe is it?
My ankle, actually, I'm so clumsy, and I love running, so I'm a long-distance runner. I love to go running, but I always sprain my ankles all the time. But running is actually how I get my weight down for fights, and I had sprained my ankle, and, I didn't say anything, and I tried to, just get over it, and, it's just an ankle, that will heal quick, but it actually got worse, just me trying to constantly keep doing things on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was something, it was hard because I really, really was excited for that fight, but, it was something that I didn't really want to risk, and especially I would not have been able to healthily cut the weight off either. Mm-hmm. I'm still taking it easy. I actually just got back in the gym. I felt like a fat slob, though. I hadn't been doing anything, so, I got back in the gym this week, but I wouldn't have even been 60%.
Mm-hmm. How long ago did this injury happen?
Probably about 3 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago now.
Mm-hmm. Was also a factor in pulling out of the fight, was it because of the last fight that you had a loss, and now if you win in this one, if you're not 100%, that decreases your chances of getting a good performance in and getting a good result. Did that play a factor? Because if you go in there and lose, then you're 0-2, and it's digging yourself into a hole going to 0-2.
I don't really care about the record. It was more, my main thing was I wouldn't have made the weight, and I wouldn't have been 100%, but I've had fights where I've been pretty hurt. I've had a fight, I still don't know what's wrong with my knee whenever I fought Julian Leibarger. I could barely walk before that fight, but my weight was already off. So the main thing was my weight. The second thing, I knew that, they say, if you don't have some kind of injury from your training camp, then you weren't training hard enough. Mm-hmm. But it was mostly the weight.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned the one injury you had before this. What is the worst injury that you've had?
Probably just, I had hurt my knee in wrestling. I never actually went to the doctor for it. I posted pictures. It was humongous. Couldn't even walk. Couldn't bend my knee. It still hurts me to this day, but I hate going to the doctor. I hate getting things checked out. So that one, and then, a couple concussions. I have a really bad lower back, so a lot of times I get to where I can't even barely move for weeks. And that's from cheerleading. Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to touch on some outside the cage stuff, just some fun questions that I want to end on. The first thing is, what kind of hobbies do you have outside of fighting?
Well, like I said, I love to run. I actually love to read. I go to school here at the university. It's funny because now I feel like I kind of put my life into MMA right now. So that's my main thing, is just training and people always ask me, like, what are your other hobbies? And I'm like, well, I don't know, sleeping, eating.
What are some of your favorite TV shows?
My favorite show is Dance Moms. The season just ended, but I love that show. Other than that, I just randomly watch whatever's on TV. I don't watch too much TV, though. And then also The Voice. I love The Voice.
How about when you were younger? Like when you were a kid, what kind of TV shows did you watch?
When I was a kid, I was always scared of everything. So I was scared, like, say, like a scary movie was out and the commercials were on. So I would always leave my channel, my TV on Disney Channel. So I just grew up, like, watching Disney Channel. And even, like, a little secret about me, like, when I go to sleep at night, like, it's, like, say, like, now the Paranormal Activity commercials are out, I leave my TV on Disney Channel, so no bad commercials will be on.
What are some of your favorite movies?
I have a lot. I love, like, romantic movies. You know, I love, like, The Notebook and The Vow and movies like that. And I love, you know, like, just any kind of funny movie.
What are your favorite kinds of music, and who are some of your favorite artists?
I love all kinds of music. I'd say my favorite, though, I love country music. You know, I don't even have a favorite artist, but I love country music the most, I would say.
I thought you were going to say All American Rejects. That's your walkout song.
Yeah, it was my walkout song for that one. It was kind of aimed towards certain people there.
Oh, and it's on your website too. That's the background music for that. So I thought that was...
You know, it's so annoying now. I want to change it, and you have to, like, pay every, like, month for new music, so...
Oh. Well, and now the final thing that I want to end on, again, we're sticking with the goofy side of things. I was on your Facebook fan page, and I noticed the About You section, so I'm going to read some of that off. So, pro MMA fighter, we know that. College student, where are you going to school, and what are you studying?
I'm studying kinesiology, and I'm going to Texas A&M Corpus. But I kind of want to switch my major to psychology now.
Ex-cheerleader, we know that. Ex-girlfriend. Now, is this directed towards somebody? Is this just saying that you've been somebody's girlfriend before, or is this a warning that you're one of those crazy ex-girlfriends?
It's geared towards a couple people. You know, I thought it went with ex-cheerleader. Actually, my main story in fighting is, like, kind of that I changed gyms because I had ended up dating my coach.
Oh.
And, you know, that's kind of I live in a small town, so an ex-girlfriend.
Oh, I see. Cowboy boots, I'm just going to assume that's your favorite form of footwear?
Yes, because I can't really walk in heels very well, so I love being able to wear cowboy boots everywhere.
Can't cook, is that, again, with the Ninja Princess type thing, is this can't cook because you don't like cooking, or can't cook because you've had a bad experience, something blew up, something burned, something like that?
I literally, I just cannot cook. My parents never really taught me how, and I kind of just like to keep it that way, I guess.
Can't clean, is that along the same lines?
Yes, I hate cleaning.
True believer in karma.
Yeah, I definitely believe, you know, like what goes around comes around.
Definitely.
That's kind of always been my motto.
Definitely. Hater of squirrels. What's wrong with squirrels?
Squirrels freak me out. I think don't they have rabies or something?
I think so.
Every time I go running, by my house there's tons of squirrels, and I always think that they're going to attack me. You probably think I'm a weirdo.
No. It's okay. Blue belt in jiu-jitsu, we know that. White belt in life. What do you mean by that?
You know, I'm young. I'm 19. I feel like I've kind of been thrown out there. You know, I've tried to be more mature than I should be for my age. I just feel like I have so much to learn, and, you know, I used to think that I knew everything, and, you know, I'm learning pretty quickly that there's a lot to learn in life that I'm going to see pretty soon.
Jordan, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you would like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
I just like to thank, you know, like my family. They do everything for me. Thank God first. And, you know, just thank you to all my fans that stick with me. And, you know, I just want I can't believe. I mean, I never thought like a couple years ago I'd have over 7,000 fans. You know, all these people that actually follow what I do. So I really appreciate it.
Jordan, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, nice talking to you, too.